Greetings! Last year, the world's top drone maker, DJI, decided to enter the power station market, and I reviewed their debut models last summer. This summer, they released their new 2 kilowatt-hour flagship, the Power 2000. At less than 46 cents per watt-hour, it seems like a pretty good deal. But is it any good? Let's find out.
HOBOTECH.
Inside the DJI is a 2048 watt-hour LFP battery rated 4,000 cycles to 80% capacity. As for size and weight, it's approximately 18 by 9 by 13 inches and weighs in around 49 pounds. It's actually very tossable size and weight for a 3 kilowatt power station. As for the display, it's a spinning image of its smaller siblings. It has an identical screen that offers all the important information on its color LCD, including input-output watts, time to charge discharge, battery state of charge percentage with level bar, for a grand total of 14 pieces of information on screen. As for the inverter, it packs a 2,000 watt pure sine inverter through 3 20 amp outlets and a single coveted TT30R 30 amp appliance outlet, otherwise known as a 30 amp RV hookup. The total inverter output on this model is 3,000 watts or 25 amps. So no, you don't get the full 30 amps that the socket's rated for, but most folks never use more than that at one time anyway, even on a moderately sized RV. With 3,000 watts, I can run my RV's microwave and air fryer at the same time, or say both the microwave and coffee machine at the same time. 25 amps will also start my 15K roof AC, although I wouldn't bother running that on such a small battery. As for ways to charge, the DJI Power 2000 can charge from multiple ways depending on which accessories you have. Now, it does come from the factory with just the 15 amp AC grid cord, which you can use to charge with a generator. And charging from 15 amp AC grid or generator in super recharging mode, which is enabled only via the app, it can top up from 0 in under 90 minutes, and it can charge to 80% in under an hour. Now, that AC charging cable is the only accessory cable the product comes with. If you want any other method of charging, you need to purchase specific accessories and or proprietary cables. This is one obvious way they are keeping the price down. And if you do want to charge from solar panels, for example, you need to opt in for these external MPPT solar controllers at $60 a pop. This model can take 2 through these SDC ports, that's what they call them, which are basically XT90 style connectors, but don't think you can just plug any XT90 cable into them. These ports have additional pins inside to detect what kind of adapter, for example, these solar boxes, that you're plugging in. Because these are bi-directional ports, that means that power can go in or come out of these ports at a pretty high amperage. Now, DJI uses these ports for everything from battery expansion capability to charging up drones directly to, yes, solar charging. So with a pair of these boxes, you can input up to 800 watts of solar panels in parallel only from 12 to 30 volts. And yes, I said 12 to 30 volts. For charging to 2,000 in about 3 hours under perfect conditions. Now, unfortunately, DJI didn't send me anything else like a car or drone charger to try that out. Now, all the inputs and outputs are on the front of this product, and those of you with a sharp eye might be able to tell it's missing one important thing for being a portable power station you would use for camping. That's 12 volt outputs, because there are zip, zilch, zero, nada. You will not be running 12 volt fridges or anything else 12 volt for that matter from this product. However, if you love USB, you're not going to find better USB support anywhere else with 4 USB-C power delivery outputs and 4 USB-A quick charge outputs. None of those 5 volt dinosaur ports here. In fact, 2 of the power delivery outputs are 140 watt design, 2 are 65 watts. And they claim that all 4 can be used at full power simultaneously on top of the 4 from these, which would be over 400 watts of USB output and a new record for this channel. Now, we're going to find out in a moment if that test passes or fails. Now, unique to the Power 2000 marketing campaign is that they promote this product's toughness and safety. And they say it can withstand up to 1 ton of load-bearing force, and they show it being run over by a truck. It's also made entirely of flame-retardant materials, uses 26 temperature sensors to monitor cooling, and is equipped with 21 fuses. Talk about excessive. The BMS and inverter are apparently potted to prevent water ingress or condensation issues and can be used in elevations up to 5,000 meters or 16,000 feet. So while you might not be able to breathe, somehow it can still regulate its internal temperature in paper-thin air 3 miles high. Now, as for the app, DJI does offer one. It's called DJI Home that can remote control this unit via both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. However, the wireless transmitters cannot be turned off, so if you're in an environment where wireless is forbidden or would cause interference otherwise, you're going to want to shop elsewhere. As for the warranty, DJI offers a 3-year manufacturer's warranty, which can be extended to 5 years if you download and use the DJI Home app. Now, note that this app has to be downloaded direct from DJI's website and is not available on the Google Play Store. When an app is not on the Play Store, it means it's not being validated by Google or any other third party for safety or security. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the app, but DJI obviously wants you to really install it by offering you an extra 2 years warranty just to put it on your device. And of course, I took the Power 2000 here into my secret laboratory where I performed all kinds of crazy experiments on it. But we did test the AC battery capacity through the AC inverter, and it scored 1,720 watt hours out of 2,048 for an industry average 84%. Now, this test is always done at 0.2 C discharge rate of the battery, so the results are consistent across all brands and capacities. So I left the unit on with the inverter enabled for a full 24 hours. It used 22% of the battery according to the screen, and that's 22% of 2,048 watt hours. That's about 450 watt hours wasted, or approximately 19 watts idle consumption for the inverter. Now, when I recharged via solar back to 100%, it took 570 watt hours, and that was at 8 amps to recharge the battery. Since it used 570 to recharge instead of 450, we divide those two to get 79% efficiency of the MPPT controller. That means 21% of the power going into this box is wasted to heat. So if you left the inverter on at 19 watts of idle consumption, it would totally kill this battery in about 4.5 days. 19 watts of waste out of a 3,000 watt inverter is actually quite good, but I suspect 79% efficiency of those solar controllers, not so good. In my opinion, is very likely due to these proprietary MPPT conversion boxes and their lower input voltage. So I'm always asked how long stuff's going to run on these devices, so compensating for usable capacity, which we just figured out. You can pause this chart I'm going to put up here on screen to see approximately how long common appliances will run on this particular unit. Result of the pure sine wave check under load was 118 volts, 60 hertz. That's a pass. Inverter capacity test under max load. It's rated at 3,000 watts. We're able to pull 3,600 watts for at least 5 seconds. That was a pass. The cooling ability heat soak test. All right, we're back. It's been 5 minutes, and my room does smell like I've been running a soldering iron. That is what the smell smells like coming out of this thing. I would have to hope that that burns off over time. It did pass the test, though, at 3,000 watts for 5 minutes. You can tell I'm yelling because the thing is actually pretty darn loud. The inverter fan noise, we rated it at 63 decibels, which is too darn loud.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud. Next, please.
Let's start with the AC test. I do have this 5,000 BTU mechanical air conditioner. Let's see if it starts it up. It should without any issues. High fan. And there it goes, no problem. I set it run up to about 500 watts there, and then it kind of sits around 350. It'll go around 350 to 400 watts running. So it starts it up, no problem. All right, my least favorite, but everybody wants to see it, the saw test. No problem. And the heat gun test. All the way up, 1,800 watt. There we go, pulls about 1,400 watts. Pass. Next, AC charging, which is oddly done on the front for some reason. There is a little switch here that you can switch on slow and fast. Right now I have it on the slow setting, it's 1,200 watts, and then I switch it on to the fast setting, and it bumps up to 1,450. Okay, the app is extremely basic, it just looks like that. But yeah, that's what the output screen looks like. That's what the input screen looks like. There's nothing fancy here. Oh, there is super recharging is what they call it. So super recharging. And that takes it up to 1,800 watts. That's pretty good for a standard wall outlet. And interestingly enough, when I put it on slow, it doesn't change. You would think it would change back to the slow setting. but it does not. Now for the claimed DC solar input range, these boxes can handle 12 to 30 volts at 20 amps, and you can hook up 2 of these in parallel. So as tested, we're able to pump in 108 watts at 12 volts, 212 watts at 24 volts, and at the max 30 volts, 250 watts. Now I know they do claim 400 watts, but that is if you use all 3 of these ports. Each one of these XT60s can handle a certain number of amps. You have to use them all in order to max out the box. Now I don't have 6 chargers, so that's why we were able to pump in 250 under one XT60. Now for the charging fan noise when charging with AC or solar, this thing seems to be whisper quiet. I couldn't register anything on my meter. Now as for simultaneous charging ability, you can pump in 500 watts of solar plus 1800 watts of AC power for a total of 2300 watts combined, and that is with solar priority. Now if you want to charge with 240 volts, there is none of that available out of the box. UPS test. Now DJI nowhere in their manual or online or on the product says what the milliseconds are for the UPS switchover. So I have a music video running on this Dell PC. It's charging at 1300 watts at the same time. I'm just going to pull the power cord and see what happens. 3, 2, 1. Well, looks like it's fine. The music video kept playing. Everything seems to be all right. It didn't lock up or anything like that. So that's a pass. One thing that actually is impressive about the DJI 2000 is its massive USB output. It has a pair of 140 watt USB-Cs and a pair of 65 watt USB-Cs, and I'm running all 4 at the same time for outputting over 400 watts of USB power. That's pretty crazy. So these two are doing 140 apiece, and these two are doing about 60 apiece. So you can certainly charge a lot of drones and a lot of devices with that, and I haven't even touched these 4 USB-A ports. So if you want a power station that has lots of USB output, this is it. So as for other outputs, this can do lots of stuff, but no adapters were supplied to test anything else. Amp interference test. Let's find out if the inverter on this is clean or dirty, or if it'll actually run a power amp without making noise. So we'll just go ahead and power up the inverter. And it sounds nice and clean, so that's a pass. Results of the EMF test. Now, wireless cannot be disabled, so that factors into the results. As for the AC result of the inverter, that was 85, or considered a little bit high. All results for the DJI Power 2000 fell within expectations. So what do I think about the DJI Power 2000? Well, I'm about to do a lot of ranting here, so I want to preface that by saying the Power 2000 performs flawlessly here in the lab, and there's nothing wrong with it from a technical aspect. I'm not only pleased that the 140 watt USB outputs work on this model, but I was able to pull a crazy 400 plus watts from just those 4 USB circuits, and that's a new HOBOTECH channel record. So I'm not going to bash the crap out of this product, but there are things about DJI's design that I disagree with. Let's start with what I'll call oversights, and that's certainly the biggest controversy with this product, the fact that there is no solar charging ability out of the box on an ultra portable, take anywhere, charge your drones, off-grid product folks will take camping. It's a different train of thought because in order to solar charge, you literally have to pay 59 bucks extra per box and get you 30 volts of 400 watt external MPPT for your solar. And if you want 800 watts, which is standard for a power station this size, double that bulk. Sure, you can bolt them on the side. They give you screws and brackets, and you can bolt them all up here and have wires sticking out. It's pretty janky. It's a pretty janky solution, to say the least. And DJI knows that, because go to their website, see if you can find a single picture of this with these boxes bolted to the side. You will not. I couldn't find one, or I'd put it up here on the screen. So even they are embarrassed about what that looks like. So what they're doing is they're counting on folks not needing solar charging, and for those that do need solar charging, they're pushing their $329 add-on, which is an 1800 watt MPPT charger. And if you're a fan of modular solutions, you're going to love this concept. But also be warned that in order to directly charge your DJI drone batteries at top speed, that also requires the purchase of a specialized cable for your particular drone. The list of accessories for this power station for these SDC ports is pretty wild. Next gripe. It ships with no paper manual. Trying to find complete stats is like pulling teeth, and this is for a product that's been out for several months now, so there's no excuse for them not having a paper manual. I literally had to use ChatGPT to help me find something simple like the millisecond switchover time of the UPS mode. All the online manual said is it was not 0, which what the heck does that mean? So I put that into AI and they said it was a 10 millisecond switchover, so I guess we're going to go with 10 milliseconds for this review. If you notice something else, there's also no readable labels for anything on the front of this product. I didn't even see DJI branding until I flipped the thing around, looked on the back, and I barely could see this logo. It's not even raised. It's like it's printed onto the plastic in like some darker blue color. It's almost impossible to see, and there's nothing else on here besides this label. I couldn't even tell what inverter size this had without pulling out a magnifying glass and trying to read this label. I mean, that's some seriously small text. Good luck reading that. Now, I thought this might be a demo model at first because the front was completely blank. But I went on the website and that's actually what the final product's supposed to look like. And I did use a very bright flashlight, and with a very bright flashlight, you can read imprinted in the plastic here, kind of says, get the right angle, max 140 watt, max 65 watt. This says max 24 watt. I'm assuming that's for all of them, but nothing on the inverter, nothing for the inputs. That's it, just a barely visible label for the USB. Something else I didn't like was the fact that these buttons look identical and they're not labeled. This is labeled once you turn it on, but let's go ahead and turn both of them off and let me show you that if you don't know this product and you just picked it up out of the box, those buttons look the same. For the first couple times I'm holding this down like, why is it not turning on? Why is it? Because it's closer to the edge. I figured that's the one you're supposed to turn on. No, it's this one. And since there's no label around them, you can't tell which one's which. You basically got to hold this one down to turn it on. And then when you press this one, it lights up and says AC. It's just not very intuitive. Now I'm guessing they're doing this and because they're going for some kind of sleek futuristic look by making the labels invisible. But for an end user, getting to know the product for the first time, it's actually pretty frustrating. Now, I've always been the kind of person that hated those nondescript icons that replaced all the labeling on products for hardware and popular software. Now, I understand this is done to make everything international friendly, but it usually goes too far, and DJI goes one step further here and just makes the labels impossible to read under normal light. I shouldn't have to memorize what the product is, what size inverter it is, doesn't say that, doesn't say what size battery it has. You shouldn't have to guess what things are. And then the worst part is the manual, if you want to call it a manual, the single sheet of paper it comes with, that's it. That's your quick start guide. It's worse than an IKEA book that tells you how to put together furniture with no words. It's just images. There's nothing on it. It's completely useless. And then they give you this thing which is like 10 different languages and it doesn't say anything. It's all safety information. I didn't see any mention of the inverter or anything like that on here, inverter power. I had to literally look it up on the internet on their website. So again, it's useless information. And the fact that there's no branding or anything on this, if you set this on a table and I wasn't reviewing it, I couldn't tell you who it was from or what it was or what size it was. That's not really good marketing. Anyway, that's the end of my nitpicking. Oh wait, I forgot to gripe about the lack of 12-volt output to run things like portable DC refrigerators and the overbearing 63 decibel inverter noise. Meh. Maybe next time. This video is getting way too long. So let's talk about what I do like, and that is the price. For one, it's very fast to charge from AC power, and I'm glad they use a standard easy to replace AC cable instead of something proprietary like they did with their outputs. This is something that you could find just about anywhere, and it handles a full 15 amps of charging. Although I'm confused why the normal fast charge switch, which is right here, you can switch this between normal and fast charging, that switch stops working when you go into the app and tell it to go into super fast charging mode. Why does switch stop working? I don't know. It's also very compact and quite lightweight for its performance. I mean, this is a 3 kilowatt inverter and it's like super lightweight. No doubt the size and weight is because there's no built-in solar ability and no 12-volt circuitry. So while I don't really care too much for these SDC ports, they do make sense in a way because they're bi-directional and it allows DJI to be very flexible in their use, and it keeps the product extremely compact. Since there are two of them and they are both bi-directional, you can have one as input and one as output at the same time. And in fact, you can use one port to connect to a second DJI 2000 and double your power. It's also expandable with up to 10 of their 2 kilowatt hour batteries through these ports. So you can have one port connected to another DJI 2000, the other port connected to a big bunch of batteries. So you can really expand this thing pretty big, and in that regard, it's actually quite scalable. Now, since this is already such a good deal and a good price, if you don't mind spending an extra $349 on top of the price for that super fast car charging combo, you can also supercharge this thing with up to 1200 watts of solar. None of these stupid little boxes. It actually plugs directly into one of the ports to let you do 1200 watts of solar and vehicle direct charge from a battery or alternator at 600 watts. So 1800 watts combined charging into one port. That would turn this thing into a very capable powerhouse for camping and off-grid use. Now, if we're being honest here, this is the same thing EcoFlow and Bluetti can do with their own pricey add-on alternator chargers. So it's not unheard of to charge extra for this feature set. It's just a bummer that the 2000 doesn't ship with any built-in solar charging ability whatsoever. Product price. Now, the normal price for this product is $949, but DJI said they're going to be providing a HOBO exclusive discount code that'll knock a few bucks off that price for viewers of the channel. Hold up, wait a second. Future Professor here. About a month after the rest of this video was filmed, DJI asked me to hold off on publishing this video because they're having an epic sale on this product for Black Friday. Once they told me that secret price, I decided to put this video on the back burner until, well, today, when that new low price finally kicked in. So what is that crazy low price? Only $739. That's right, $739 for a 2 kilowatt hour name brand power station. But wait, there's more. DJI is giving viewers of HOBOTECH, that's you, an additional 5% off with an exclusive code, bringing that price down to $684. That's, wait for it, 33 cents per watt hour. That's just crazy. I also heard from Santa after he slammed back a few too many drinks that if you wait until November 20th, the price is going to drop an additional $40, making the deal even sweeter at 31 cents per watt hour. Again, insane for a name brand power station. Understandably, if you need the solar charge, you're going to have to spend an extra $59 on either that 400 watt MPPT or $319 on that 1800 watt fast charger combo that lets you charge some solar and your alternator at the same time. If you really don't need solar charging or 12 volt output, 33 cents or 31 cents per watt hour is insane value that just can't be beat with a stick, especially coming from a big name brand company like DJI. Note that all these deals are exclusive to Amazon. They said the DJI store page is just going to be out of stock for a while. The provided links will take you to the appropriate Amazon product page, and all sale prices mentioned will expire after Cyber Monday, December 1st, 2025. All right, now back to the past. So if you're interested, the link and discount code is going to be in the description of this video below. I'm also going to put a link here at the bottom of the screen. You can type in along with a QR code you can scan with your mobile device. If you're watching me on TV, I'll take you on over to the DJI store page where you can check out the Power 2000. Thanks for watching, and until next time.
Odin commands you to like and subscribe, and clean my litter box.